to tell you a story. About a year and a half ago, I got an envelope from Moses. I was still at City TV as the host and presenter, and senior producer of Queer Television, and the envelope landed on my desk. I guess by virtue of showing you the envelope, I've just opened myself up to being accused of office supply theft. I don't know. Moses can have the envelope back, but I insist on keeping what I actually found in it, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I remember it being a particularly frenzied period of time. Early December, everybody was scrambling to get as many episodes of their shows into the can as possible in preparation for Christmas break. So I remember feeling utterly exhausted, and that may explain why, against my better judgment, I immediately opened the envelope. And in it, I found this. A newspaper clipping with a short report and the word Islamic circled in bright red ink, and Moses' commentary on the side. Almost like the Talmud. You'll see that I'm actually not exaggerating here, but let me read you what the report said, and then let me read you Moses' commentary. Girl coerced into sex to receive 180 lashes. This is in Nigeria. A pregnant 17-year-old whom an Islamic court, circled, sentenced to 180 lashes for premarital sex will give birth within days, her family said yesterday. Bariya Ibrahim Magazu told the court in September that she had been pushed into having sex with 3 men who were associates of her father. The girl produced 7 witnesses. The girl's family said she was due to give birth within a couple of days and was expected to receive her punishment at least 40 days later. Now for Moses' brilliantly read and perhaps brilliantly written commentary. Irshad, one of these days you'll tell me how you reconcile this kind of insanity and female genital mutilation with your Muslim faith. M. Well, I sat there in disbelief, because here I was, completely consumed by meeting deadline upon deadline for a show whose viewers regularly challenge me to explain how I reconcile my sexual orientation with my spiritual orientation, and now my defender, the chief of my defense staff, if you will, is throwing yet another burden on my shoulders, and not an easy one to meet. Give me a break, I thought. I thought some more, but I'll say for now, give me a break. So I threw the newspaper clipping on the already opened envelope, pushed it away, and got on with meeting my deadlines for the man. That evening, in the edit suite, I still couldn't shake it. And I realized that, like it or not, I'm going to have to address this one. And I'm going to have to do it honestly. Not in a cheeky or sardonic or clever or witty or precocious way, but in an honest way. First, because we're talking about a basic issue of justice. And also, because I ain't going to let them think that the only way I can deal with this is to weasel my way out of it. So over the next several weeks, I began asking myself some pretty honest questions, the most persistent of which was this: does Islam lend itself to fundamentalism more easily than the other monotheistic religions? And I started building a case in my mind for why it might. I even remember privately engaging a couple of people about this at last year's Idea City, so that by the time September 11th rolled around, I was prepared to offer up my thoughts on this question publicly, and I did. Had an essay published in the Globe and Mail about it. And for those of you who didn't catch it, let me summarize the essence of my case for why Islam may very well be more readily given to fundamentalism than either Christianity or Judaism. Contemporary Muslims are routinely told that the Holy Quran is a book about which there is no doubt. By building upon the teachings of the Torah and the Bible, it perfects those teachings. And therefore, it's God's final manifesto. And having achieved perfection, no need to contend with it, argue with it, reformulate, or even debate. It is what it is, and that is that. Which leads, I said in this essay, to the other great contribution that Islam has made to civilization, and that is Prophet Muhammad got it all in writing. And for those of you who are lawyers out there, some of them quite eminent, you know whereof I speak. Indeed, the first word that the angel Gabriel, on behalf of Allah, reportedly said to Prophet Muhammad was this: read. Read. It was all about honoring the written word. Prophet Muhammad formally codified into an ordered society the commandments that the other Moses grudgingly introduced and Jesus struggled to embody. And then I thought, maybe this is where the problem is sourced. The problem of fundamentalism within Islam. And here's my rationale I had at the time, that we contemporary folks of whatever religious or spiritual affiliation know by now that whenever guidelines for good human behavior are encoded, be they sexual harassment policies or articles of faith, they tend to take on a certain permanence, like it or not. Even particulars that are infused with an urgency responding entirely to the circumstances of the time, the circumstances that led to those guidelines in the first place, those particulars have a convenient way of calcifying into timeless, universal truths. Welcome to the modus operandi of fundamentalists. Now, I acknowledged in my Globe essay that, of course, this is the MO of fundamentalists in every religion. But there's a big difference, I reckon, between contemporary Islam and Christianity and Judaism. Christian leaders of any import today are well aware of the intellectual diversity in their midst. They can deny the validity of each other's biblical interpretations, and often do, but they don't dare deny, not even Jerry Falwell denies, that a plethora of interpretations exists.